Welcome back to Before the Bell here on MMA Odds Breaker. I'm Frank Trigg, of course. That is the odds maker, Nick Kalikas. 3 fights this week. Usually we only do the main event, co-main event. Of course, we have 3 title fights for the UFC 217, Saturday, November 4th. We've got to cover all 3. Obviously, the champ, Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. Number 4 ranks, but definitely the rankings in this one are the ones that I don't really agree with. I think Rose is higher up the chart than number 4. A very, very tough fight, but Joanna, of course, as the champ, has got to be the favorite in this one so far.
Yeah, she is, and she's a huge favorite. She's been bet up even more so. Right now, the champion, Jędrzejczyk, is at minus 750. The comeback on Rose Namajunas is at plus 525. So no respect for the challenge now. I mean, it's been like that because of how good the champion has performed, really. I mean, throughout all her defenses, winning the strap. I mean, she's been pretty much considered to the fans out there and the bettors invincible.
Are we starting to see a Demetrius Johnson type affair with Joanna, where she's just beating everybody up so evenly and so easily that everybody is going, okay, we just have to bet the champ. It's the best lay of the land. That's why the lines are getting so outrageous, even though you don't open them up that far apart.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of. I mean, she's cleaning out her division. I think there's a lot of similarities. A dominant UFC champion. I mean, that we've seen in the past before other champions as well. But yeah, similar to DJ. I think a lot of people just think that she's not going to get beat for a long, long time. I think, in my opinion, Gadella was probably her toughest matchup, and it's proven to play out that way. When they fought. But the problem with Gadella was her gas tank, and Jędrzejczyk was able to survive and weather that storm and then take over when she had to. So outside of that, I mean, she's pretty much had flawless victories throughout. I mean, Carolina, she ended up testing her as well. She gave her a battle, especially as the fight progressed. But pretty much, I mean, she's clearly beat all contenders thus far. And stylistically for this fight, she's such a big favorite right now because a lot of the fans believe that Rose will not get this to the floor. And if she does not get this to the floor, she's not going to outstrike a champion. So that's why you're seeing a little bit more, heavy action coming in towards the champion right now. A lot of people think it's a bad matchup. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, Rose is definitely going to have a good game plan. And if she gets in a scramble or she causes some kind of, grappling situation, even if it's just real quick, she might be able to hop on Joanna's back. And then we have an interesting situation because I guarantee you, if Rose is on her back, she could probably get the W. So it's one of those things. We'll see how it plays out. But, of course, you got to lean Joanna's way. No doubt about that.
Okay, so just from the early analysis of what you're saying about this fight, if I'm going to bet anything, I'm going to have to bet the dog or pass on this one because the line is so wide. And if I'm wrong, give me a second and correct me. But also you're saying that the only way that Rose can win is by getting a submission. So if you're going to take Rose, then you have to take her by submission by the end because she's not going to be able to strike her. She won't be able to hold her down the entire time. But she might be able to finish her. Is that what I'm hearing you say right now?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to say anybody can finish the champion like that. But at the same time, I think if she's vulnerable anywhere, it would be in that situation. And Rose has some slick submissions. Offensively, I mean, she's hard to deal with on the ground. She's proven that time and time again. So I think that is her best path to victory is getting the fight to the ground, trying to take her back or, get an arm or a limb along the way and probably ending it that way. If it goes to the scorecards, I think Rose can make it competitive. And with the state of MMA judging out there, you never know. I mean, she could possibly get a decision, but I doubt it. I think logic says here that it's Joanna's fight to win on the scorecards. I mean, she'll outstrike Rose. Rose is tough to finish. I mean, it's going to be a battle for sure. I still think that we're either going to see, if Joanna wins and she wins inside, it's going to be by knockout, of course. I don't think she knocks Rose out. I think she probably, like I said, ends up getting her on the card. So if you're going to bet it, maybe bet the champion by decision. And if you're going to bet, on Rose on the underdog, probably take the better number at inside the distance or even by submission.
So we got to put our money someplace. Where are you going to put your money this time on this with this particular line?
I'm staying away. I mean, there's a lot of good fights on this card. So this is a spot. This is another fight that it doesn't intrigue me one way or the other. I mean, personally, I kind of hope that, the underdog story comes through. I think that it would be awesome to see, a new champion crowd, especially one that nobody expects to do it. Yep. But as far as putting money down, I'll probably pass, though. I don't recommend a play on this fight.
Okay, let's move on to the fight that I actually believe is going to be the fight of the night. I think this is the most competitive fight on the entire fight card. It's also the co-main event. TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt. Obviously, there's heat, there's build-up between these guys. Both used to be Team Alpha Male cats. TJ takes off, goes off to start his to focus more on his own game and his own growth. And this wasn't getting along with some of the guys on the team, and moves out to Colorado to hang out with Bang Ludwig and improve himself. Cody took offense to it. To me, the way this is playing out in the media, I kind of get the sense this is a breakup story where TJ broke up with Cody, and TJ's okay with it. He's kind of fine. Hey, I broke up with you. Like, it's just over. It's just done. I'm kind of okay with it. And Cody really doesn't want to be broken up with, and he's just mad about the whole ordeal. Like, why'd you leave me? You didn't pick me up for our date on Friday night. Like, what's happening? And that's kind of how this is playing out. But man, is the drama great. Man, am I following every single thing these guys are saying and what they're doing. The stare-off was just a little bit ago in Madison Square Garden, New York City, and they're getting ready to go to fireworks then. This is going to be a great fight. Do you think that this is going to be the fight of the night, the way that it's matched up and the way that it's playing out in the media right now?
I think so. I think it's honestly the fight most people are looking forward to, at least the true fight fans. I mean, don't get me wrong. The headliner, Bisping and GSP, is very intriguing. It's probably going to draw more star power, obviously. I mean, that's why it's the headliner. Everybody's looking forward to GSP coming back and finally seeing Bisping defend that middleweight strap as well. So I get it. But this, for the purists out there, this is the fight we all want to see because it's going to be a competitive battle, throughout probably 5 rounds. But these guys are both good enough that they could finish inside along the way as well. So, I mean, I think we're going to see a scrap. I think it is fight of the night type of potential, at least. It should be on paper, and I think it delivers, man. It's almost hard not to deliver with that fight.
TJ had that incredible punch to a double leg that a lot of wrestlers around the world are still trying to figure out how TJ shot that double leg. It's become kind of a standard now with these two guys of how well they keep improving each and every fight. Obviously, we all know Cody's background. We all pay attention to it. He's come a long way, not only as a man, but also as a competitor. TJ's always been that nice guy that just works his ass off the entire time and always kinds of train. I'm interested to see how this fight's going to go, though. But break it down for me. How do you see this fight happen?
I think it's going to be really competitive because both of these guys are world class, obviously, and they both deserve to wear that strap. They're good enough to wear that strap. Obviously, Dillashaw, the former bantamweight champion, and now, like you said, Garbrandt winning the strap from Dominic Cruz, deservingly so, man. I mean, the guy's a special talent. There's no doubt about that. Garbrandt, I mean, what he showed leading up to the title fight where he did dethrone Cruz, I mean, we saw a lot of special potential, and a lot of people thought he was a true prospect, and he delivered on it. I mean, the performance that he had against Cruz when he won that title was remarkable. A lot of people were just scratching their heads how easy at times he made that fight look. I mean, it was a competitive fight, but man, I mean, Garbrandt really looked tremendous in that fight. So Dana White thinks he's the next big star as well. He thinks if anybody has a chance to be a Conor McGregor, which I doubt. I mean, Conor's one of those unique athletes that probably once in a lifetime type of situation, but the next big UFC star, at least, I mean, I believe Dana White just recently said he thinks it's Cody Garbrandt. So that's how special of a talent this guy is. But I think people are underestimating the skill of a guy like Dillashaw. I mean, he was a former champion for a reason. The controversy surrounding the decision against Cruz, a lot of people thought Dillashaw won. And if he won that fight against Cruz and didn't get his strap taken, he could still be champion. We don't know that. So he didn't really lose that belt. I mean, to a lot of fans' minds as far as, I mean, the judges kind of took it from him. But now it was a competitive fight, and bad decisions happened, as we all know. So that being said, Dillashaw's hungry. I mean, look what he did recently to Lineker. Lineker has been running through people, and people are basically afraid to fight the guy at times. I mean, until you get to that top-tier group of bantamweights, Dillashaw ran through him. I was so impressed with what Dillashaw did in that fight. I mean, just outclassed him completely. So I think it's going to be a back-and-forth battle. I think a lot of people are underestimating Dillashaw, and I think it's right now where the line is. I mean, it's minus 175 for Garbrandt. The comeback is plus 155 on Dillashaw. I think it's going to be a closer fight than the line indicates. So this is a true dog or pass situation here. I mean, like I said, Garbrandt is a special type of athlete. He could go out there and knock Dillashaw out. I think there's a possibility that happens. But at the same time, I think that Dillashaw is going to be smart enough to come in with a good game plan, get the fight to the ground, and maybe expose a little bit of Garbrandt's weakness, which could be the ground, because we haven't seen him play out many fights on the ground yet, and that's because of his great takedown defense. But if anybody's able to do that, it's a guy like Dillashaw. So I think that's what the interesting factor is. Can Dillashaw not only strike with Garbrandt, but can he implement his wrestling and his ground game here to possibly win the fight and stop it inside, or will Garbrandt keep it upright and just kind of pick Dillashaw apart a little bit in a competitive striking battle? So I would take the dog here at the plus money, plus 155. I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, and actually, I don't see any other way that this fight can go. Other than from the line going that way is you got to take the dog or pass. Cody is super special, but it's TJ Dillashaw. I mean, come on, this fight's going to be Absolutely amazing. It's going to be fireworks the entire time. The biggest question for me is it going to be TJ's wrestling that overtakes or Cody's striking that overtakes? And that's the thing we'll have to find out. Come the middle of the first round, come the second of the first round, the second half of the first round or into the second round, which one is taking over? That's the one that's really going to tell us how things are happening, is which one steps up their game and kind of start enforcing their own will as you think. I don't think this fight's going to go and it's not going to go anytime soon. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a finish. There's not going to be a TKO finish. It's going to be one of those long-fought 5-round battles that we all expect to see from these super huge athletes. Do you think this fight will be finished early? Do you think the fight's going to go a decision?
I don't know, man. I could see it playing out so many different ways. I could see Garbrandt going out there and catching Dillashaw and knocking him out. I could see Dillashaw possibly catching Garbrandt and knocking him out, because let's not forget, I mean, I'm talking about his grappling, but he's a pretty good striker in his own right. Has a lot of power. So I could see them knocking each other out. I could see, like I said, Dillashaw hopping on his back, maybe subbing him that way as well. So there is a possibility this fight does not go the distance. I'm hoping it does. I want to see a 5-round war, like you said, and there's a good chance that it does happen because both these guys are so good, even defensively. They should be able to neutralize each other out, whether it's on the ground, whether it's standing up a little bit. They're tough enough to take each other's shots too. So logic says it probably does go 5 rounds, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if it finishes inside either way.
All right, let's move on to the main event. Bisping versus St-Pierre. To me, honestly, this fight is a no-brainer. I got the champ Bisping winning this fight. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's been more active over the last 4 years. Yes, it's GSP. Yes, it's the best draw pay-per-view that they've had besides Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I get that he walks away as one of the best champs. Most amount of championship bouts won for the UFC, breaking Matt Hughes' record just before that. I get it, but the sport has changed so much. The sport has evolved so much in the 3+ years that he's been gone. Is it been 3.5 years, or is it already 4 years that he's been away from the sport?
Yeah, it's about 4 years, I believe.
Yeah, so
it's around 4 years, still a long time, right?
I mean, think about Bisping 4 years ago. This fight would have been kind of questionable. Like, it would have been, it's GSP versus Bisping. 4 years ago, it's a questionable fight, but it's been 4 years. I mean, and Bisping has been improving his game, obviously improving his trash talk that we've all been seeing, but he also has improved his game, and he is a real legit champ at the weight. Now, yes, do I think that it was kind of a fluke the way he beat Rockhold? Of course I do. Do I not like the fact that Henderson was his first title defense? Yes, I don't like it, but yes, it made sense because Henderson was the one that knocked him out, and he's trying to avenge that loss. So yeah, of course. And once you're the champ, you kind of dictate who's going to come up next. To me, this is another kind of entertainment fight per se for Bisping. He hasn't really defended it yet. What's going to happen when he fights Whitaker? What's going to happen when he fights Joe Romero, who just lost to Whitaker? What's going to happen when he fights Rockhold again? GSP has got to defend the title if he wins, and he came out and said he's going to be here for a long time. How does GSP do with Whitaker? How does GSP do with Romero? How does he do it? I mean, it's amazing the list you start going down. And you're like, really? I personally believe, and a lot of people have said this before, that as great as GSP is, the game has passed him by. And I've got a lot of flack for saying that. Like, the game has really passed him by. It's 4 years ago. Like, there's a lot of growth that's happened in our sport in the last 4 years. Hell, the UFC was under different owners 4 years ago. It's a whole different ballgame, right, top to bottom. I think Bisping wins this one relatively easily, but does the line reflect my opinion on this fight, or am I on the outside of it?
It kind of does. It's a pick'em right now, -110 either way. And I'm saying it kind of does because I opened GSP the favorite, and the overall action has taken the line down to a pick'em. So that's tough, man. If you're seeing GSP, I mean, it's hard to open George St-Pierre a dog against anybody, even up a weight class, even with him being out for so long, because he was one of the greatest, all-time fighters, period. I mean, what he did, like I said, Matt Hughes was the man. I mean, hey, by the way, tip the hat to you because you've been in there with both Matt Hughes and GSP, in their prime. So, and you had some battles there. So, these guys better than anybody. But the legacy that both have, right? Matt Hughes and George St-Pierre. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that he replaced Matt Hughes and then took over. And a lot of people didn't think that Matt Hughes' record would be passed or, surpassed or what he accomplished. Because he was the greatest welterweight of all time, when he was a champion. There was no doubt about that, right? So people thought, Matt Hughes is going to go down as the greatest welterweight ever. Then GSP went on that run, and he surpassed him. I mean, crazy to think. You have two of the greatest back-to-back there that kind of, reigned champions for a while. So GSP had that kind of hype. A lot of people want to see him fight Anderson Silva. He's always going to be kind of a perennial favorite in most people's minds. But here I agree with you. And I think the action that draw the line closer to a pick'em fight is right, because I do think 4 years is a long time. The game has changed. He's facing a very confident Michael Bisping, which has good takedown defense. So he probably is able to keep the fight upright. And if he does, he's a better striker. I mean, GSP is not a bad striker, but I mean, you can't compare. Bisping is definitely the better striker here as well, the bigger fighter. So if he can keep off his back, I know GSP has been training karate. He's been doing a lot of different stuff. He's been bringing, some good strikers, elite different strikers in to help him train for this. But still, I think Bisping will be ahead of him in the striking game. So, yeah, I do think it's Bisping's fight to win or lose. And if he can keep off his back, he probably wins and maybe finishes GSP along the way. Oh,
wow. So you see Bisping finishing GSP, which is the first time I think in maybe 3 or 4 weeks that you and I agree on how a fight's going to go. I do, and it's funny because I was talking to my brother who's stationed in overseas right now, and I was talking to him via text messaging, and I was like, how do you and you guys think this fight's going to go? And he's like, Bisping's going to win easily, and he'll probably do it while he's laughing. And I'm like, that kind of goes with Bisping's personality. He's like, yeah, if he's that dominant over somebody, he'll just start laughing at you in the middle of the fight, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's starting to overwhelm you. Now, I don't think it's going to be that bad of a beatdown. I think it's going to be more of a timing, I'm able to work it out, I finally find an opening, and I capitalize on it kind of fight. Not going to be one of those where I'm just going to slap a little kid around. It is GSP. You have to give him credit for what he's done, like you said. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do think that Bisping's going to finish this inside the end of it, and he's going to walk away champ again.
Yeah, for me, I personally thought the GSP was on the decline when he left. I know he said it was more mental than physically, why he left, the reasons. But, look at his last few performances. I mean, that fight against Hendricks, he lost. I mean, he probably could have lost that fight. It was close, but a lot of people felt that he lost that fight. So maybe he shouldn't even have left with the title, really. So I thought he was kind of a declined fighter back then. Now with 4 years removed, I know he's always going to be in great shape. He's just a special athlete, too. I mean, it's GSP, so he's going to be in good shape. But I don't know, man. I think it's just it's a tough matchup, coming back and facing a guy up a weight class that's actually a really good fighter like Bisping. I agree with you. I think either way, these guys are going to lose the strap soon. Whoever wins this fight at middleweight, I mean, it's a Shark Tank right now, and there's better fighters than the guys that are fighting for the strap. No offense to Bisping, he deserves to get that belt. He's put the time in. He did the work. He got the win. He deserves it. I'm not taking anything away from him. But let's face it, these two are not the best middleweights in the world, even if whoever leaves there and wins the title. I mean, that day they might be, because they're wearing that strap, but there's sharks out there like you mentioned. I mean, Romero, Whitaker, all those guys, Rockhold. I mean, these guys can beat both of these guys. So I think the winner of this fight potentially loses the strap right away in his next fight, depending on who they match him up with. But that said, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think that it should be a great fight. It should be intriguing. It should be a lot of fan reaction. Like a lot of fan support is going to come in. A lot of people are looking forward to GSP coming back. So I'm excited about the whole card.
I'm going to be refereeing an event, CXF, Saturday night at the Sportsman's Lodge in LA, and so I will have to be looking at my phone the entire time, trying to figure out what time can I go, when can I go, what's happening. Do I want to see the result? When I wait till I get home to watch the whole thing on DVR, like what am I going to do with it? And me, I'm just going to be like, who's winning? What's happening? Round by round breakdowns. Like it's going to be a madhouse come Saturday night because everybody really is looking for this fight. They're looking to see how GSP is. And whether you want him to win or want him to lose, or think he's going to win or think he's going to lose, everybody, 100% of people are wondering what's going on with him. They want to see what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, and deservingly so. I mean, the guy left, like I said, he was on top of the world kind of when he left, one of the all-time greats. He's going to be, he's going to always be remembered as one of the best UFC fighters ever, win or lose for GSP. He's kind of established himself in that, that realm. So, yeah, it's definitely noteworthy. And then Bisping, man, I'll tell you what, he gets a W. He beat Anderson Silva and GSP. Who would have thought that, like you said, 4 years ago or so? Crazy.
And he said 10 years ago, I'm going to be the UFC champ one day. You watched 10 years ago. So it wasn't like he woke up one day and was like, I'm going to be the UFC champ, and then shows up and gets a couple of lucky wins, and all of a sudden there's some good MMA math, guys get hurt, and he all of a sudden is the champ because he's the next guy in line. He actually had to work his way through for a long time to get through and become that champ. So he is deserving of the belt the way he won it. But I agree with you. It's not the two best middleweights out there right now. It's definitely one of these guys going to lose it probably next fight, whoever wins it. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing pans out, man. I'm really excited for this entire card, top to bottom, but I am really interested in the final three fights. I really want to see how things go.
I agree. It should be great.
Well, there you have it for this week here on Before the Bell. This is MMA Oddsbreaker. That's Nick Kalikas. I'm Frank Trigg. We'll see you again next week.